Just wanted to share with you guys a 1946 Spartan Manor I've been working on that was in very, very bad shape and about to be scrapped. As you can see, I had to rebuild the entire sidewall here. They used to sell fireworks out of this thing on the Tennessee-Kentucky border in the 80s and 90s, I guess. I built a big table out in the front here where the bartenders will hand your drinks down to. We had to water jet cut the studs, and rebuilding this wall was quite a bit of work. I custom built some wheel well covers out of quilted stainless. I also have a door here in the back with an old step that drops and lowers. You can set drinks on. Some grating there for a little bit of airflow. The idea is that you'll be able to have 3 bartenders working out of this trailer for big shows, festivals, that kind of thing. Got a lot of 12-volt lighting around it. You can see back here, that top center light is actually an old light off of an ambulance. We had a hole there in the skin, so decided to patch it with that. Kind of restored and redid all the fixtures I could off of this. Now these actually work as the running lights for when we need to move the trailer, which won't really be a whole lot. This has a brand new Lippert axle 6K underneath it, and we went, I think, 75 inches wide hub face to hub face, which fit very well considering these wheel well covers and wheels down here. I will end up eventually putting bigger tires on there, probably 33-inch that are meant for a side-by-side to give us a little more elevation on the trailer and a little easier to run plumbing. We'll probably end up doing some skirting as well. Did a little retrofit lock on the doors there, so we have a deadbolt that locks this. Let's see, what else? We've got, this is a little powder-coated outer light. And up on the inside there, if you can see, that's just a little 3/4 trailer light, and it fits perfectly up in those fixtures. We've got a vent fan. I'll pop around the front here. As you can see, it used to say stop and look for selling fireworks up on the Tennessee Kentucky border. And I got some old cab lights I had, I think from a 40s truck. They're glass lensed and they have that radius to the top. So I put those up there just because they fit the curve so well. I've had them sitting around for years. Didn't have a use for them until I got this thing. Now here's the interior. It is an open framing with 3 layers of this kind of bubbly aluminum insulation in the top. We've got ice wells here in the front. I've got a place for undermount cash drawers. Still got to put those in, and the screens. We've got a 60-amp panel. Another ice well here. Some lights so the bartenders can see a little better. A lot of stainless, a lot of quilted stainless I picked up from a guy on Facebook Marketplace. Surprisingly, he bought it to put in another Spartan that he was going to build into a kind of an old diner, I guess. And that stuff is, I think, 24 gauge. Comes from a company called Cater Depot. We got a 3-comp sink here in the back. Lots and lots of black lights in here. I did kind of a hanging shelf so we can store some stuff underneath. We'll have a mop sink in the back. So basically, as you can see here, if we need to, you can have a 3rd bartender work this back door here. They'll have their own station and everything. We're gonna have a small hand sink for them. There'll be a little Insta-Hot hot water heater for them here. We've got 1 window that I put new tracks and everything in, so it slides, it opens for fresh air. We've got restored lighting fixtures up in the top and 14 by 14 roof vents. So we'll have 2 max air vent fans. I haven't put those on yet because you can't get out of the building with much more stuff on the top. So we'll have 2 max air vent fans, and in the center we'll have a Houghton, I think it's Rec Pro rooftop HVAC that has a heat pump, so it'll do AC and heat. Now, one cool feature too is, you probably can't tell, but underneath this window is a trap door that hinges up about 180 degrees and will allow us to bring the coolers into the old Spartan. That is something you have trouble with in doing stuff with these, because the door frames are pretty small. I think 23.5 inches, so you can't get most coolers in here. So we built that so it's kind of camouflaged from the outside. Trying to think what else. That's the bulk of it. We did a new floor. We left the console floor underneath and did 3/4 Advantech. I have not added the floor drains yet. There is actually a black piece of rubber that goes from 1/4 inch to nothing over a foot around the entire perimeter. So all of this has slope towards the center for any spills or anything like that. But a lot of work to get this thing back to where it was. As you can see, there's the studs we had to redo, remake, which was a bit tricky, but ended up getting that done. And then some service windows that will close. You just pull these down. And I took out the panels that were in them and put quilted stainless back inside of those, and those lock closed. There's that light that's been redone. Everything's pushed really far up into the ceiling, as much as we can get, so somebody who's about 6'2", 6'3" could still work in here. And you might notice all this PEX tubing as well in the ceiling. There is no water in that. We haven't even done any plumbing yet. That is just to hold and retain all the insulation in place. These are our 2 power supplies, 12-volt power supplies. And this is actually an old fixture. I cannot remember if it came out of this trailer exactly or another Spartan I was working on. But I always try to reuse as much stuff as possible that comes out of these. Now I have one other thing you guys might like to see that I'm working on. Plenty of Spartan stuff here that's, none of these were good trailers. I don't chop stuff up that could be saved or worked on another way. These are all trailers that had a tree fall on them, or this one in particular I'm getting ready to show you. I actually just went to South Carolina and bought just the end cap. This was originally, I think, a 45 or 50 foot trailer, 57, 58, I can't remember. But we took the back section out here. So the idea is about 4 to 6 people can stand and kind of hang out inside this. You can just imagine all the lights being off. It's got kind of a funky ceiling with some black lights. This is an old shuffleboard table from downtown that got broken from some rowdy customers. So I saved the top, and I welded up these frames as well for the outside and used some old flooring that I had from another Spartan that I restored a couple years ago. But yeah, we got the 12-volt lights, got the ceiling, and this will just be a spot people can kind of hang out at the nightclub and kind of up on an elevated platform and kind of overlook the crowd, I guess. It is outside, so I put the owl up top to keep away all of our pigeons that like to get around there. So anyways, that's what we're working on here in Knoxville, Tennessee, for a nightclub here right across the railroad tracks from the University of Tennessee. So that's all, folks.